everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should because I talk about geeky things, and today we're going to be talking about potty training a puppy. So I decided to take you guys on a 24-hour journey of what it's like to potty train my puppy. Now granted, during this time I was taking time off from work. I took the first week off with Apollo to get him acclimated, to really hit hard with some of the potty training stuff that we needed to do, and just also realize that I wasn't going to be sleeping much. So this obviously does not involve me working at all. This is me working, not even working from home. This is me genuinely not working. So obviously things are a little different now that I'm working again, but for the most part, this is how I potty train a puppy. Okay, so this is the fourth night that Apollo is living in our house. So, can you see him? Right there in the corner. It's kind of hard, it's dark. But I am about to head to bed. I have, oh wait, Alexa, cancel timer. Forgot.
2-hour timer canceled.
I'm doing 3 hours tonight. Alexa, start timer for 3 hours.
3 hours, starting now.
So I'm doing 3 hours tonight, so that means I am getting up every 3 hours with the puppy to take him potty. This is how it kind of works with potty training puppies, is you have to get up throughout the night with them to make sure that they potty train okay and everything like that. And then during the day, I'm taking him out once every hour while we're awake and he's outside of his crate, because that's the whole thing, is that he's inside his crate, so he's more likely to hold his bladder while inside the crate. So potty training actually ends up becoming a little bit easier when you crate train, which is what I'm doing with him. Now, he hates his crate. I'm used to it because Cosmo hated his too, but I am not giving in like I gave in with Cosmo. He will be living in his crate until he can prove to me that he will not urinate all over my floor, which he's already done many times. So that is the adventure that I'm going to take you guys on with me throughout the next day. Here, starting right now, the night before, we are going to go through a day of what it's like to potty train a puppy. So you're going to wake up with me every 3 hours. Granted, for you, you're not actually waking up. I am. But we're going to wake up every 3 hours together and take him potty every hour during the day. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Just give it a thumbs up now, please. Thank you. And I'm gonna go to bed. But first, I'm gonna put the puppy in his crate. Wish me luck. Alright, it is currently, I'm coming puppy, 12:30. And this is one of those times where Apollo actually told me he had to go. But the alarm also did just go off, so he is on the mark. But, alright, I'm gonna take him out. I've been carrying him lately because otherwise he'll possibly pee. Hey, because otherwise he'll possibly pee. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go take a potty now. So he's gonna start barking any second because he's back in his crate. But he ain't go potty. So I don't know. He didn't pee in his crate, but he was more interested in playing and digging and having fun outside. But I'm not awake at 12:30 in the morning for him to play. So we're out there for enough time. Going back to bed for another 3 hours. Good night. Okay, so I haven't fallen back to sleep yet. It's about 7 minutes later, but he won't stop. So I'm gonna take him potty outside one time. I'm gonna try again and see if he will freaking go. This is not gonna be a good night. And again, nothing. So it's not gonna be a good night. Good night. Okay, it is now 3:30. His crate looks the same. So I don't think he peed in it, so I think he's still holding it. Which is quite impressive because at his age he shouldn't be able to hold it for 6 hours, but anyway. I'm going to take him out and see if we can get him to pee. Hopefully we can. We had pee. I did stick around a little bit outside to see if he needed to poop. I'm quite awake. So I'm gonna try and sleep some more, which is why he's back in his crate. Why you're hearing him scream and cry. I'm gonna try and sleep for a little bit longer. Don't know if that's gonna happen because I'm about an hour out of when I'd be normally waking up. So I'm quite awake, and also I'd be able to function at this point. So it's not that big of a deal if I didn't fall back to sleep because I go to bed so early. But I hopefully can fall back to sleep for just a little bit. But yeah, so he did successfully pee, which impresses me because if he held it that long, that's impressive. That should be well beyond his age, because he's only 8 weeks, so he's not even 9 weeks yet. I know, I'm so mean. I'm the meanest mom. He hates his crate so much. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to sleep. I'm gonna try at least to try to go back to sleep for a little bit, and we'll catch back up with going outside during the day and how we go outside after feedings and after naps and things like that. So, because those are all very important times to take a puppy potty. So, a reminder, my dog is a large breed dog, so it's a little different as he is 8 weeks and he's already the size of most like bigger small dogs. So just bear that in mind, that obviously breeds are going to be different. I said this in the intro too, but breeds are different and sizes are different. This is a golden retriever. Very easy to train in general because they are very food oriented. They are very praise oriented. They just want to please you. Where there are some dogs who don't care about pleasing you, some breeds that don't really care about pleasing you, because they're a little more independent. And also small breed dogs can't hold it the way that larger breeds can. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so it is now just before 6 o'clock, and I did fall asleep. I basically dozed for the last like 2.5 hours. I actually did fall asleep for some of that. But Mr. Man is being very, very needy for needing to go outside. So I am up. I mean, even Cosmo is like up and running now. So it's definitely time to wake up for the day and take the little dude out to go potty and be up for the day. So he's not going back in his crate unless I have to leave the house, or well, probably until dinner time, because dinner time with mom and dad, he does go back in his crate. Cosmo, Nova, and I go upstairs and I eat dinner with my parents, and then we all come back downstairs. He comes out, goes potty, they eat dinner, and then he goes potty again. So, but you guys will see that. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so Apollo successfully went potty and poop outside. It is kind of rainy today, so my intention was always to bring the camera out. Now that we're up for the day, now we're gonna go outside once an hour, just because he's obviously going to have a larger area to roam in, so there's more likelihood that he's going to just kind of like, I'm just gonna go potty wherever, and he definitely has done that. Again, we're still in week 1 of him being here, so the fact that he goes potty on the floor isn't a failure. He goes potty on the floor and he doesn't get a treat, and if I see it, I will discipline him. Now, dogs generally react best to positive reinforcement, which is why I do positively reinforce them when we are outside and they go potty. But what he has to do is understand that when we're inside and he goes potty, he doesn't get that positive reinforcement. He gets kind of the opposite. So I do discipline. I don't yell or punish, but I do just kind of give him a stern hey, 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 and go naughty, nope, bad, naughty. And so I don't yell, but I am stern, and he doesn't get a treat, and he's really starting to understand that, because then he'll kind of look guilty at me. So he is understanding that he did something wrong. So I do try really hard to I don't know what he's doing. I do try really hard to positively focus on the positive reinforcement versus on punishment. But when it comes to potty, I feel like it's important for him to associate in here potty bad, out there potty good. So I do want to negatively reinforce inside the house a little bit versus outside. But I don't do it unless I see it. There have been times where I've seen poop on the floor that I did not see him do, pee on the floor that I did not see him do. There is absolutely no point. Matter of fact, studies show that disciplining a dog after the fact does not do anything. It just implies that the thing they did was bad, so they're more likely then to hide it, versus the action itself was bad, to associate the action with bad so that the action of going outside is better. So if I don't see it, I don't punish, I just clean it up. And if I do see it, that's when I, again, don't punish necessarily, but I do try to associate in here as bad, out there as good. So that's kind of my process to an extent. So Apollo's having a fit because I'm holding him, because right now Cosmo is eating because he eats out of his wobbler. I think I'm going to switch. I know. He's fine. You're fine. Anyway. Cosmo eats out of his wobbler. I might see if he'll switch back to eating out of a bowl just so that it is easier while Apollo is little and learning the difference between everybody's food. I mean, even Cosmo still has trouble with cat food, which is why the cat food is out of his reach. But anyway, all right, Cosmo's basically done. So we did go potty before I went upstairs to make breakfast. Because I had some stuff to do that I did prior to eating breakfast. So I got those things done, and then we took Apollo potty. Cosmo didn't go potty. Cosmo can't be expected to go potty every hour, but he still comes outside. He still gets a treat. But yeah, so I took them potty. Apollo potty. Cosmo came with. And now we're waiting for after breakfast potty. The best way to do it is to wait about 20 minutes after breakfast to try and take a puppy potty again. He may pee before that. I hope he doesn't. But, you know, there's a lot of conflicting opinions on the best time to take a puppy potty after he eats. I like to wait about 20 minutes. So that's where we're kind of at. Alexa, how much time is left on my timer?
You have 31 minutes left on your 1 hour timer.
So I set an hour timer. So I'm probably going to cancel that one because it's just going to be a lot more time than I want. And probably just hit it with 20 minutes, maybe 15 at this point, because Apollo did finish quite a while ago. And try and take them potty after that. And so that's where we're at. Yeah, so I'm going to take them potty in about 20 minutes. And again, Cosmo probably won't go potty. He might, but he probably won't. It's Apollo that I'm concerned about. Apollo that needs to be potty trained. So it's Apollo that needs to learn. Going outside is what you need to do. He has been pretty good about letting me know when he has to go outside. So I'm trying to listen to that. I'm trying to listen for those cues specifically. About when he wants to go outside. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he just squats and pees. But for the most part, he's actually been pretty good about letting me know. About saying, hey, now is about the time I need to go outside. He'll usually run to the door and start barking. And then I'll take him out. So I'm starting to listen to those cues, starting to listen to his personality. I'm just watching him to see if he's going to pee right now, because he is walking around sniffing, but I think he's just looking for kibble. Because Cosmo does eat out of his wobbler, so his kibble ends up on the floor. So I think he's just sniffing for kibble. And now he's chewing on something, so I think we're set. Anyway, so we're taking potty in a few minutes. Well, in about 15 minutes. Okay, so we went potty again, and he did potty and poop outside. So that was a great success for our 20 minutes after eating potty time. He's getting really good about knowing that he gets rewarded when he potties outside. So whenever he does potty outside, he comes running up to me to be rewarded, whether that is celebration or treats. He does come and gets really excited. So he's getting used to that, which means he's starting the association process, starting to associate going potty outside with good things. So once he's really gotten good at associating with that, then the plan will be to kind of wean him off of the treats and go back to just celebration, and then eventually train out the celebration need altogether, and just having him understand that that's just where he goes potty. So it's really working out nicely. Again, we're not going to do the full potty training system because I would have started this days ago, because I started potty training the minute we started bringing him home. I mean, we stopped every hour on the way home with him because we were about 4 hours away from where he was born. So we did stop every hour, and we worked on potty training. We celebrated every time he went potty and poop outside. And so we started that process the second we got him, the second my mom and I were starting to bring him home. And so it was good. It was a good situation. So obviously we're not going to be going through the whole potty training process in this video, but I'm just wanting to do like tips that are coming from a place of I'm actually doing this right now, and these are the steps that I'm taking to potty train my puppy. Everybody has different processes. This is the process that I found worked for Cosmo, and so I figure since he's the same breed, so they have very similar learning styles throughout the course of the breed, generally speaking. Obviously every dog is different with personality and everything like that, but still the breed itself is very easily trained and very food motivated, very celebration motivated. And so it worked for Cosmo this way, and it's working for Apollo this way as well. Okay, so we are now having our morning nap. He's drifting in and out of sleep right now. He's not totally sleeping yet, but he's definitely going to sleep. He's lifted his head a couple times. I've rubbed his belly a couple of times, and he's itched and moved and stuff, but he's going to sleep now. So this is a very important time for me to be very vigilant on. I don't have a timer set right now because this piece is up to him. So after his morning nap, he goes straight outside. Generally speaking, that's the best way to take care of after a nap. So he's taking his morning nap. He takes 2-3 naps a day, and after that nap he'll go outside. Sometimes I'll stay on a schedule of 1 hour and I'll wake him up, but he's now at a point where I don't want to wake him up. I'm just gonna let him do what he wants to do because he's sleeping pretty well through the night now, so I don't want to like keep him awake during the day to try and keep him sleeping at night, which doesn't work as well with dogs as it does with like human babies, or at least I've understood that that's one of the things you can do with human babies. Doesn't work as well with dogs because dogs sleep more in general, but I did do that for a little while just to keep him on a schedule. But now, especially since we're kind of winding down, we're halfway through my time off before I have to go back to work next week. So now I'm letting him rest, and then he's going straight outside after he's done napping. So that's the plan. So he's napping now. This will probably last maybe an hour. And then as soon as he wakes up, we're going straight outside. Okay, somebody is awake from his morning nap. He just woke up, so now is the perfect opportunity for me to pick him up and take him out. His nap actually lasted quite a while. I'd say probably about an hour and a half. So his nap did actually last a decent amount of time, so I think most opportune situation is for me to carry him. He tends to not pee if I carry him. He's never peed on me that I know of. I have gotten pee on me, I have gotten urine on me, but I think because I've picked him up while he was still wet down there. So I think right now is the perfect time to pick him up and take him outside. Time to go potty. So here's an example of a moment where Apollo just up and peed on the floor. I did not see this, so even though he saw me see it and he smelled it and looked at me and realized that I was upset about it, I did not outwardly discipline him for it because I did not see that take place. I simply saw it after the fact, and there's nothing I can do about it other than just clean it up. And he just did it again. Apollo! That was naughty. Look at this. That's naughty. You do not pee on the floor inside the house. To be fair, he was starting to go in. That is a mess. It is very rainy and muddy right now, so forgive that mess. He has been walking into this room, so that also could have been a very easily missed cue by me that he needed to go outside. He's not been super vocal about needing to go outside today, so aside from like in the middle of the night when he was waking me up, but that could have been just he wanted out of the crate, so he just did that right in front of me. So I'm glad he actually did that as I was filming, so I could kind of show you guys the examples of how I kind of assess whether or not I'm going to negatively enforce. Do not drink your pee. What is wrong with you? To be able to assess what made best sense for me in that moment, to be able to enforce the don't pee in the house narrative. So that was actually kind of perfect timing. Well done, Apollo, but I will never say that to you because I don't want you to pee inside the house anymore. Okay, see, now he's barking at the door, so now he probably has to actually go outside, so we're gonna go outside. So I was definitely missing a visual cue from Apollo because he did need to go outside. He actually pooped while we were out there. So that's something super important to understand, is listening to your dog's cues when you're potty training. Listen to your dog's cues in general, but specifically when you're potty training, because as they're learning, they're going to come with visual cues and vocal cues or vocal cues. Some dogs don't vocalize, some dogs can't. There's actually one breed of dog that can't really vocalize. But there are some dogs that don't necessarily vocalize what they need. Some that do, but I know Cosmo tends to vocalize more than show a visual cue of needing to go potty. He'll generally just kind of stand there and just whine at me, and then I'll ask him if he needs to go potty, and then if I get a visual cue, that's when I'll get the visual cue. And that's just something that I learned from him. Like, I didn't teach him these cues. There are people that will. There are people that will do the bell trick. There are people that will do, that are starting to do this fluent dog technique, which I would like to try. But I've not gotten that far yet, where they will. My cat just walked in the urine. Anyway, where they will, where they are able to do a very specific, they're able to teach a dog a very specific cue to let them know what they need. And that's great if that's the way you go about it. That's just not the way I've gone about it. I've wanted to go about it a lot more natural way, where the dog learns from me to go potty outside, and then from that I learn from the dog their language. And it has helped tremendously with Cosmo to learn his language. So many times, there are times where I'll be upstairs with my parents in their unit, and my dog will be whining at my mom, and she'll turn to me and go, "What does he want?" Because I know Cosmo's whines. I know Cosmo's language. And so now it's just a matter of learning Apollo's language. Even Apollo doesn't necessarily know how he's going to communicate with me, but he's starting to. He's starting to realize if he goes into that room enough, or if he barks in that room, that means I'm going to learn that he needs to go outside. Because that's the thing is Apollo can't walk up to me like a toddler that's learning to be potty trained and say potty or poop or pee. He can't do that. So he has to depend on me understanding his visual and vocal cues. And so I missed that today. I definitely missed that today. And that happens. It still happens with Cosmo. Not that Cosmo has accidents in the house. The last time he had an accident in the house was actually completely out of his control because he had a UTI and was constantly peeing. So that was a completely different situation with a completely different issue where that, I didn't really miss the cue because I actually wasn't in the house when it happened. But I still miss Cosmo's cues, and he gets frustrated, and then he gets more and more vocal, and then that gets me frustrated. So a lot of times it's just a miscommunication between me and Cosmo. Whereas with Apollo, I'm just now learning his cues, and so now I'm going to be more vigilant on that. So now that I realize him going into that room a lot, even if he's not barking, is telling me that maybe I should think about taking him outside. We're not at the hour mark yet. My Alexa has not gone off. Okay, she turned off. My Echo has not gone off yet, so I've not missed my schedule, but he also is a living creature with his own schedule. So that's such an important piece of me realizing, oh, I missed that visual cue. So now I'm gonna be more vigilant on that. Now I'm gonna go, okay, is this a visual cue of him wanting to go potty? If something is kind of making me seem, okay, does he need to go potty? I'm just gonna take him. When he's outside of his crate. Obviously, when he's in his crate and I'm working, I'm kind of tied to my computer. I can't just up and take him potty whenever I want. I don't talk much about what I do, and there's a reason for that. I like security. I like privacy in that regard. But I for reasons that I will not go into, I am tied to my computer all day. I can't exactly just take him potty whenever I want or whenever he needs. So that's why while I'm working, even though I work from home, he's still going to be crated during the day while I'm working. And on my breaks, I'll take him out and hope for the best during that time frame. But that's kind of where we're at right now, and that's the thing that we're kind of building towards at this time. So we're going to work on that. But yeah, so I did miss that visual cue. It happens. It's going to happen a lot during his potty training time frame here, until he's old enough to hold it for a decent amount of time, where it doesn't become such like an emergency, let's get him out of the house. Right now, it's so questionable about how long he can actually hold his urine. They say, like I said at the beginning, they say that a puppy his age can hold it for 3 hours. But obviously that isn't necessarily the case, but he's also still learning. So he's not quite fully understanding. He understands that if he pees or poops outside, he gets a treat, but he doesn't understand yet that peeing and pooping inside is bad. So that's why I'm trying to decide when it is appropriate for me to go, hey, that was bad, that was naughty, to teach him that. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'll update you guys when there's an update. So we are on now nap 2. I was eating lunch, so I was scooted up on my chase a little bit, and he is now napping there. So we're gonna wait for him to wake up from that nap. His morning nap was really long, so I can't imagine this nap is gonna be very long at all. But it's time to just wait for that nap to go through. He spent a lot of time just playing and running around and chewing on stuff, and we went outside for a little bit, obviously, when he pooped and stuff. So now we're gonna wait for him to wake up, and same concept. The minute he wakes up, the minute he's really awake, because he startles awake every once in a while, so he'll wake up for a little bit. He starts to wake up, and then he'll go back to sleep a little bit, and then starts to wake up again a little bit. He goes back to sleep a little bit. He'll start to wake up again, and then, all that stuff. And so once he's like awake and he's actually like sitting up or like, laying down but still sitting up, then that's when I'll prepare him to take him back outside again. I did set an alarm because I wasn't sure when this nap was going to take place. So I do have an alarm happening again right now. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how long he takes to wake up. But after his nap, we're going to go back outside, and because the whole thing is like setting your dog up for success versus setting your dog up for failure. Just crating all day, if you're home, that's not beneficial. Crating should only take place when you can't actively watch your dog. So crating, like I crate when we go upstairs, when the other two, like Cosmo and Nova and I, go upstairs and hang out with my mom and dad for a little bit in their unit. Or if I leave the house for a little bit, like if Cosmo and I end up going on a WALK, like I was wanting to today. Don't know if that's going to happen. It's quite rainy out, so I don't know if we're going to have the opportunity to be able to do that today at all. you know, I crate him during that time frame. Once I'm working again and I'm working and focused on that versus having to be focused on what he's doing, where he's at, I'll crate him during those times. So that way that I'm setting him up for success, because he's not going to be crated his entire life. He needs to know how to exist in his space without being in a crate. He needs to be able to exist in his larger space and do that. Now, I do know there are family members, there are people who will put their animal in a smaller space. I don't really have that opportunity. I basically live in a studio, so I really don't have that opportunity, but I do know people with larger houses will have a crate plus, you know, kind of a baby gated area or like a kenneled area in their house, and that's perfectly fine. That's essentially what I did with Cosmo minus the crate, and then I let him still have the run of the apartment while I was home, but that way I could watch him. And there are people who will then just kind of slowly expand that space until they have the run of the entire house. Granted, I've never lived in a large house. See, he just repositioned, but he's going right back to sleep. So he was not comfortable in that position. So he woke up for a short time, but I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't actually like waking up. But yeah, so I've never lived in a large house with, I mean, except for obviously like this house is a large house, but I have my unit, my parents have their unit. If this was my entire house, then yeah, you know what? I probably would keep him to one area of the house for a little while and slowly expand that. That would only make sense because I can't be in all places in this house at the same time if this house was completely open. So like here it's a lot easier. If I'm sitting on my couch and I don't see him in my normal vision, I can kind of look around, get up and take a look and find him and figure out where he's at and be like, okay, yeah, he's fine. If this house was fully open and my house, and I'm sitting down here watching TV and he's in the upstairs, because this house essentially has 3 levels. It's got the main level, the bottom level, and the upstairs level. And let's say he's all the way up there, up, what I call upstairs. Because I live in the bottom unit and my parents live in the middle unit, and then the upstairs is still their space. But it's really just kind of just 2 rooms. Anyway, if he were upstairs, then that would be more of I have to search this entire house, which is like the storage room over here, the laundry room right here, the entire main level area of the house, which consists of the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, the main bedroom, and then the 2 bedrooms that are upstairs, and then the bathroom on the main level, the bathroom here, you know, there's the kitchen in here, you know, there's so many different places that he could be, that it's a lot harder for me to do that. So I understand that mentality of keeping them secluded to one spot. The largest place I've ever lived with a dog has been my apartment that I lived in in St. Cloud, Minnesota with Cosmo, and that was a 2-bedroom apartment. It was 850 square feet, I think. And there was one room he wasn't allowed in because that was where Corvette's litter box was in that room. So really he was confined to the bathroom for a little while and then confined to the rest of the apartment. And that was pretty much it. Except for that one bedroom. And so yeah, so I understand the mentality, but like I said, I've never lived in a large place with a dog. So with a dog that I'm training. So I can understand that mentality if you have a larger house. But anyway, he's still sleeping and still changing positions. So he's still trying to find his perfect place. This may not end up being a full nap because he does keep waking up. So we'll see what happens. But until then, I'm going to just go ahead and relax and not worry about it. So he has been napping for like 2 hours. And what I think is hilarious is how he's basically rolled across the chase. So if you all remember, he started basically back here and now he's over there. This is one of the longest naps I think he's honestly ever had, which is great news because I hope this is more or less what it's like when I am working again. When I go back to work next week, I'm hoping that this is gonna be a lot more similar to what it's gonna look like because he's so loud in his crate when he doesn't want to be in it. So Anyway, he does wake up from time to time, but he's never fully woken up. He's just gone right back to sleep. So he's obviously going through maybe a growth spurt or something, and that's making him a little more tired. But anyway, so he still hasn't gone out, which is fine because my floor is still wet from when I mopped it after he peed on it. So, and now he's officially awake, still very groggy, but he's awake, ready to go potty, my sweet love. Oh, big yawns, yes. So we had 2 pee sessions outside, which was great, and so he got to be praised twice for peeing outside, and so that's fantastic. But also, I've had to turn coming in to a command because, so Apollo and Cosmo was the same way, but Cosmo had a different style, a different lifestyle when he was potty training because we lived in an apartment. So his only option was to be leashed in the backyard because it's fenced in. Apollo gets to just kind of roam free. I follow him and I'm out there with him all the time. I never let him go out by himself, but he is still free roaming while he's outside. As is Cosmo, obviously. So Cosmo, even though he was raised in a kennel, his first 8 weeks, his weeks after he had been weaned off of his mother, so not the whole 8 weeks, but the couple of weeks before he came home, he was raised in a kennel. Same thing with Apollo. He was raised in a kennel outside for the first couple of weeks the last couple of weeks before he came home after he got weaned off of his mom. And that's actually kind of common with a lot of breeders. There are some breeders that will raise in the home or in a facility, like in a barn, specifically. But Apollo was raised directly in a kennel outside. And like I said, that was the same for Cosmo, and I've understood from a lot of breeders that's pretty normal because it's a lot easier to train a dog to be an inside dog than it is to train them to be an outside dog. So if a breeder keeps them outside of the family, outside of the home, it's a lot easier to train them however you want to train them, whether you want them to be an inside or an outside dog. And so anyway, it's actually really hard to get Apollo to actually come inside. I've had to pick him up and bring him in. So now I've started to lure him in with treats. So now he comes in very quickly and very easily because he knows he gets, if he has a good come in, so that's the command, come in is now the command that I'm teaching him. So if he has a good come in, he gets a treat. And so that's been working the last couple of days. So that's been really interesting because I didn't experience that with the Cosmo, especially because of the fact that, like I said, he was leashed. Because we lived in an apartment complex. There was no off-leash area at the apartment complex that we lived in, so everything was leashed. So I didn't really have an option there, and he would just follow me however he felt the need. But yeah, so that's really interesting. And the other thing too is I've not leash trained him yet, not leash trained Apollo yet. I mean, obviously he was on a leash 2 of the times that we stopped on the way home, but I haven't leash trained him yet, so we've not really walked on a leash much. He has walked on the leash a couple of times, and he's done really well at it, but he's never been like walked yet. Where with Cosmo, I had to leash train him right away. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes the leash when I do start leash training him, probably in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably start leash training him because he needs to be leash trained. And by leash training, I don't mean like heel or walking beside. That comes a little bit later. When I talk about leash training, I mean like dogs don't naturally know to walk with you on a leash. He has been walking really well with me free range, so the leash does seem to feel really awkward with a leash on, so that's something he's gonna have to get used to, but that's what I mean by leash training. Anyway, that's where I'm at. We had a good potty experience. I'll update you guys on the next time we choose to go potty. Okay, so we did have another accident, which is so frustrating because we were literally just outside and he pooped outside. He was definitely like settling down, like he was just gonna hang out outside. We came in about 5 minutes later, he peed on the rug, so there's that. But it's about time to put him in his crate for a little while because I'm gonna take Cosmo on a mommy and older puppy date we're gonna go for a WALK. Cosmo really can't handle long ones anymore, so this one will only be about 30 minutes, but it's still important that I give me and Cosmo time together, just him and I. It's so important because I don't want him to think that this puppy is going to be consuming all of my time, because obviously the puppy has to consume a lot of my time because he has to learn a lot of things, and he's very needy. He's very much a mama's boy, so he's been also demanding a lot of my time. So I want to really start taking Cosmo on more WALKs while the puppy is young and not able to necessarily go on WALKs with us, because I think that will help Cosmo realize that he and I still have our special connection, and this is still something that he and I can do. And I don't know if I'll ever WALK them at the same time ever, just because Apollo will be able to handle longer walks because he'll be younger and he'll have a lot more athleticism attached to him, because Cosmo was never really athletic. So he'll be able to go on my long walks with me because of the fact that he'll be more athletic. Cosmo was never really a whole lot athletic. He still went on my long walks with me. I think I can say that without him really understanding that I'm talking about him and I doing it. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna put Apollo in the crate for a little while, and then Cosmo and I are gonna go on a WALK. I think that'll be really nice. I think he'll really appreciate that. He'll really enjoy it, and I think that it'll be really good for him and I to do, just so that we're keeping our bond nice and strong, even though Apollo is kind of demanding more time from me and requiring more time from me. So I just don't want Cosmo to feel like he's being left out. I feel really bad about that. So that's the plan. So like I said, the reason why this is going into my potty training crate, or my potty training video, is because it's all part of crate training. So if I'm going to be leaving and I can't watch him, I can't let him stay out where he can cause damage to my carpet or my wall or anything like that. So he needs to be put into his crate, which is right here. You can see it right there. Put him in his crate for a little while. My mom said she'll listen for him, and if he's really, really upset about it, she'll come down and spend time with him. But for right now, he's going in the crate because that's where he goes when I leave. So that's the plan. So you'll kind of get an idea. I think I'll just let the camera roll while I put him in the crate. Maybe what I'll do is put the camera right here, and you can kind of see how that whole situation works. So let's go ahead and put him in the crate. There you go. Good boy. Yes, what a good boy. What a good puppy. Such a good boy. Thank you for being so good. Thank you for being so good. Yes. What a good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Celebrate. Yeah, I gotta celebrate with the puppy for being so good. Yeah. I know you hate going in here, but you're so good. All right. And now I'm gonna get ready for the WALK, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave the camera on him just so you can get an idea. I never make leaving a big deal. He just goes in the crate, and then I just kind of work on whatever I need to, and then I just leave. So you'll kind of get an idea of that here now. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this. Gonna make it count. Gonna make those movements count. All movement is good movement. We're gonna make this a workout, even if it's just slight cardio. All right, puppy. Wanna go for a walk? Wanna go for a walk? Yeah, you don't get to go on a walk, Nova. Don't go for a walk? Yeah? You excited? Go for a walk? Okay, we'll go for a walk. That sounds like a plan to me. Yeah, not you though. You don't get to go anywhere. No, you don't. You don't get to go anywhere, Nova. I know, but you're sweet. I love you, Nova. Okay, we got my belt working. I gotta grab my earbuds. I know you are so excited. We haven't gotten a walk since the puppy came home. So you've got to be like just thrilled. Okay. Yep, these are the ones that work. Perfect. All right. Let's go, puppy. He actually calmed down. Well, now he's gonna start up again, but he actually calmed down a lot quicker. Now he's acting up again. I don't know what made him calm down. It was weird. Anyway, he calmed down really quickly for you. This is what I'm used to for about 10 to 15 minutes. All right, off on our walk. Wanna go for a walk? Say woof. Oh, he's just whining. He's like, I just want to go on a walk, Mom. Okay, so Cosmo and I had a nice WALK, and I kept Apollo crated actually when we got home so that I could have dinner with my family, since Cosmo and Nova were already upstairs. And then we came down, took Apollo out potty with Cosmo, had my therapy appointment, and then we just kind of lazied around. Apollo actually ended up taking yet another nap that I did have to wake him up for, to take him potty one more time before bed. And then now he's in the crate for the night, and we just start this process at the same place that I picked this video up yesterday. So that is a day in the life of potty training a puppy at 8 weeks old. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. On to the outro. So there you have it, one full day of what it was like to do potty training with a puppy. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have ever potty trained a puppy and the direction you took to do it, and if it was successful or not, because this just was what worked for me when I had Cosmo, and it's working for Apollo for the most part. We're still very early on upon filming this, but either way. Teething. That's a thing we deal with now too. Ah!